Mushishi was one of the first anime I ever watched. It's one of the main reasons I got into the medium and became a question I asked myself in hope before every single show I watched. Will this give me what Mushishi gave me? From my first viewing of episode 1 till today, it's been a completely unique experience. I've never really seen anything quite like it, and I don't think I ever will. There's a certain enchanting charm to Mushishi, one that's formula will probably never be replicated. But why exactly is Mushishi so captivating? Why is it so hypnotic? After all, it's so simple, everything is completely stripped down to its most basic form, yet it's still one of the best pieces of art I've ever experienced. I'm going to take a deep look into exactly how Mushishi creates such a mesmerising experience. Let's start with the most basic of elements in Mushishi's storytelling repository. The writing. At first it looks very simple. It's an episodic series that only very lightly brushes against the canvas of its subject matter. It doesn't spend episodes on backstories and context, and it doesn't try and create a complicated character web, yet it becomes one of the most complicated parts of the show. Like I mentioned, Mushishi has a very minimalistic approach to its stories. The narrative flows like a stream. It introduces you to its characters at its own pace, sometimes waiting a while to even address the characters, each story having its own pace, structure and tone. This beautiful sense of movement you experience when watching an episode is key to the show's success. When you sync up with the episode's pacing, you get fully immersed into the world. You get drawn into the story, and all of a sudden that basic storyline has now become a fully blossomed flower. Becoming in tune with the episode allows you to connect more with the world. It makes everything so real. This becomes even more important as Mushishi doesn't follow much of a structure. Like I mentioned, each episode has its own life, so this extra layer of immersion keeps you hooked into the series. No episode is the same. This is not only with its feel, but with how it's written as well. Many episodes have more traditional structures, while other episodes throw away that and use unconventional writing techniques. Simple things like not resolving a problem or not fully concluding a storyline makes it so much more powerful. It's a lot more engaging when a story surprises you with unexpected writing choices. Although Mushishi might seem quite formulaic at first, his writing is extremely complex. Ginko is an integral part of the series. He's the main character, but he's more than that. He's a vessel for the viewer. He isn't an empty character, but parts of him are stripped of details so that the viewer can add themselves into the character and almost become him. Many times decisions and acts of personality will be left out. They won't necessarily be skipped, but they'll be left very open. This encourages the viewer to make those choices themselves. Episodes don't always conclude the way you might want them to, so your reaction to this will feel genuine and connected. Despite being stripped of development, Ginko comes across as very relatable. You really connect with him as you go through the series. I think this is because he mirrors the viewer so much. He's going through the series in the exact same way you are, jumping in and out of stories, not connecting any dots. Though that's his life, that's how he experiences everything. He can't stop to create relationships, he can't stick around to see drawn out conclusions, just as the viewer is limited with their 20-minute episode length. Ginko, in a way, is the viewer. He's more than just a piece of the puzzle, he's there with you putting the puzzle together. He's the perfect protagonist for Mushishi. He's you. Visual storytelling in Mushishi is just as important and powerful as its written narrative. It uses everything in its visual repertoire to portray mood and atmosphere, so all of Mushishi's visual qualities follow a similar philosophy: minimalism. From the animation to the colour choices, everything has a similar simplistic logic. Maybe one of the most standout aspects is the speed. Everything moves very slowly. This plays into the reoccurring effect of immersion and connection. Mushishi wants to be at one with you, and the speed of the show helps this. Simple things like how characters move their hands and how they change their facial expressions is so much more immersive than the usual techniques used in standard TV anime. Those extra frames and simple movement affect the viewer a lot more than you would think. You look at other media like video games or films, and there are constantly discussions over small amounts of frames. Our eyes subconsciously detect micro details that won't necessarily be blatantly obvious. I think the use of subtle, smooth and slow movements plays so much into the experience of Mushishi. It just adds to the tranquility and ambience of each episode. The character designs again follow a very simplistic path, this time with different results. The characters in Mushishi are usually very minimal, following the colour scheme and aesthetic of the episode. For me, the simple character designs perfectly encapsulate the idea of Ginko being a mirror for the viewer, letting us offer our own contributions. There's really no need to add unnecessary details to character designs in Mushishi. It's much more interesting to leave them simpler and let the story take over, filling all the gaps with its own artistic paint. We're once again brought more into the series. We strip another layer away, furthering our journey into the series. So I've touched upon the animation and the effects of its speed. but Mushishi's elegant animation is something to be marvelled at. It's not packed with action scenes, so it misses out on the fame many other shows get, but it's by no means beneath them. Mushishi has as much interesting and effective animation in a simple conversation than many TV anime have in their action scenes. It's the way things move in Mushishi that impresses me so much. Everything flows gorgeously like some sort of natural paintbrush, as if the animation is dancing around, painting out the story in front of us. Some of the most narratively heavy scenes in the whole series are ones that are completely stripped of any dialogue. It doesn't need dialogue at all. It can tell a piece of incredibly powerful narrative using only shapes and colours. Now, colour. Colour is one of my favourite parts of the show. It's not necessarily the most technical use of colour I've seen, nor is it the most original, but it doesn't lack in impact and expression. I'd go as far as to say that colour might be one of the best expressive tools in Mushishi. It's used in a very interesting way. Like I said, it might not be the most original idea, but that doesn't waver its effects. It uses very specific colour schemes for different parts of the story. Lots of greens for the natural world, reds for the more supernatural elements. They even have whole episodes dominated by one colour. Take this surreal scene for an example. It's completely devoured by the colour yellow, and this is used later on in the episode when the surreal world starts to seep into the real world, both literally in the narrative and in the colour choices. Observing the colour in Mushishi has become one of my favourite things to do while watching the series. Quickly pointing back to Ginkgo for a second, the colour choices for his character are very interesting. Now, Ginkgo's hair is white, completely void of any colour, but he has green eyes. Now, this ties in perfectly to the previous discussion on his character's role. He's very empty at times, but there's always that tint of life. I have to confess, I'm not as well educated about music as I'd like to be. I wish I could strip apart the music in as much detail as I can with the visuals, but I would like to just briefly mention the soundtrack. The audio and the use of audio is one of my most vivid memories from the series. The tracks all mirror the show perfectly, playing well into each scene. They're slow, natural, melancholic, eerie, and sometimes even a little intimidating. The darker side to Mushishi is something that's never really understood by the viewer, but the soundtrack portrays what we feel for us. So I guess now we have a better understanding of the effect Mushishi has on us, but it's a piece of art that asks more questions with every answer. As you dig deeper into Mushishi, you uncover even more beautiful elements to the series. It's really an endless pit of artistic expression. So how did you experience Mushishi? I'm sure everyone's is vastly different, so I'd love to hear them in the comments. Tell me how you interpreted the series. What aspects specifically resonated with you? If you enjoyed this video, please do click the like button and share it around with your friends. And if you want to watch more videos of a similar vein, you can click subscribe and check out some of the videos on the screen. Thank you very much for watching.